YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Now today I've got a whole bunch of things to show you. Some of these things are from the Perseverance rover and some from the Curiosity rover. The Perseverance ones tend to be better quality, the camera's better, it's much newer, the pictures are much brighter. In fact, they're over bright and you have to darken them quite a lot to see anything, right? And the first thing I'm going to show you is this. This is the latest thing, and one or two people have already posted this, I think. This may actually be a natural formation, but it looks very much like a bowl with this thing in the middle here. Some people have suggested it may have been used for grinding grain and making bread, like a mill, a stone mill, a millstone, where you get the grain on here and then you would roll a rock around it to crush the grain and remove the flour. Maybe that's true. I don't know. It's very clear, this one. It's quite near the rover, and it's zoomed in a little bit here, but this is literally right in front of the rover. Perseverance, SOL 907, right? And it's quite a small gigapan, this one. But this is the one that's doing the rounds at the moment, and it's really cool. It just looks kind of artificial. It may not be, of course. But what sort of process would form that naturally? It could be water erosion. This was a lake bed, or is a dried out lake bed, so that is possible. There's also a couple of other weird things in this pan. Up here, we got this scalloped out rock here, which looks very strange. You get a lot of this scalloping on these rocks, where what would have been a small hole in the rock has gradually eroded wider and larger in a sort of ovoid shape, where the wind has blown it and eroded it, okay? You get a lot of that in these, but a lot of these rocks are not normal rocks. In other words, I think they're artificial, they're hollow. Like this one here, we see a lot of these hollow rocks, which are kind of usually ovoid in shape. This one's quite complex, and it's got this hole in it here, and another one down here. I do wonder whether a lot of these things are parts of structures or pottery or something like that. I showed a whole bunch of these recently. You go back through some of my recent videos. Okay, just really interesting, and this is a nice clear image because it's close to the rover and it's kind of in focus really, rather than the distant shots we normally get. Weird stuff going on here. So that was SOL 907. I'm going to show you close-ups of these properly in a minute and point some details out for you as well, but I'm going to quickly show you these pans first, and then I'll show you the actual images up close, and we'll have a really close look at them. Okay, now there was also these two. Now this is Perseverance SOL 893 and 890, and we have two different angles of the same thing here, which looks like an alien skull. Now I'm not sure if it is. This actually may be another carving. The reason I think that, now in this one it looks like a massive skull, right? It still has facial features here, right? Getting close. I'll go back a bit and use the magnifier for you. There's an eye there, a nose, and a mouth with teeth here. And a small kind of pointy chin, just here. And a massive bulbous cranium coming right out and back like this. Now in this one it looks kind of more natural. Now if you look at it in SOL 893 here, it looks a bit different because it's a slightly different angle, and we can see round it more. We can see more of it from the front here, and it still looks like a skull, but we have this triangular mark on the side of it here, just here, right? Now if I zoom out and use the magnifier, I'll show you what I mean. There's those facial features, two eyes, a nose, a mouth with lips and teeth. You can actually see teeth there. I go a little bit closer. Look at those teeth. It's not very clear. This is a bit of a distance away, and the only reason we can see any detail in this really is it's rather large. This is probably over a foot long from here to here, right? But we have this triangular kind of mark or emblem or whatever it is on the side of it. Now that says to me that this may actually be a carving, and this is some kind of emblematic kind of work on the side here. I'm not sure. But a natural skull wouldn't have a triangular mark in it like that, unless it's a sign of some kind of injury, perhaps, from a triangular shaped object. I don't know. Not quite enough detail to say either way with this one. But this is cool because there's another thing here in this pan. This is quite a large pan, this one. And there's a bunch of objects. There's what looks like a small figurine here. Well, actually, it's not that small. This, I'd say, is about 9 or 10 inches tall. But it's much further away. So we're not seeing a lot of detail here. But you can see a face and a body. And I don't know what it represents, what kind of creature or person or whatever it's supposed to represent. You can see 2 eyes, a nose and a mouth and a chin. Nostrils kind of either side there as well. And what looks like a wing or an arm coming down the side here. And another possible one here. It's not very clear. This is quite a long way back. It's right over here. And the rover hasn't zoomed the camera right into this, so we're not going to see a lot of detail. But there it is. You can see those details there. You can see that kind of arm or wing. And a bit of detail here. And those facial details. Now, this could be a random rock with some random shapes on it that look like that from this angle. I don't know. We're not close enough to say either way. But this skull thing here is absolutely insane, right? This is the more of a front view. And this is more from the side. But we're still seeing a lot of facial detail, but not quite as much. There we are, look. Okay? Look at that. You can actually see like pupil detail there. Which says to me that this may actually be a carving and that these were possibly carved by some Martian artist. And we found a large head-shaped rock and thought, oh, I'll carve a face into it. And this may have been in front of a building, on a building or something. On a wall, perhaps. Who knows? A bit like a gargoyle or a little like one of those little statues you have outside the front of your house, if you're rich. Who knows? You can flick between them and see the different details. This one, you can actually see more eye detail here. And I haven't added that. You can see like a pupil there and an eye there. And I'll show you some more details on this in a minute. This one has been enhanced a bit more and the shadows are darker. So you can see a bit more detail in the mouth with these jagged teeth here and a little nose. And you can actually see that eye detail slightly differently in this one because the angle's different. You've got a slightly different lighting effect there, highlighting it. So that's interesting. There, it looks like a skull. It may well be a skull. It's very odd. It's very elongated and very large, like a hydrocephalus sample that you might see on Earth, where you have genetic kind of disorder which makes the head swell and the brain swell up. But if you look at my playlists and go through all the skulls playlists I've got, Mars skulls and stuff like that, there are quite a few skulls like this which are very, very large indeed with a very small facial area and a very small chin and a very small nose. So this may actually be a calcified skull. It looks like one to me, but I could be wrong. It could be carved. There we are. You can see it from 2 angles, and they're the same details in both. And there are other angles on this as well, but these were the best ones. Then there was Sol 910. Now this is something I only just did yesterday, and this looks like another gargoyle. This is really strange, and this is quite a long pan. This one. It's a bit dark on the right and a bit too bright on the left, but in the middle, it looks really good. And we have this thing here, which is very strange. It's got this weird curve to it, and it's got this gargoyle here, sticking out. And this may have also been attached to a wall or a building or some kind of small structure. This may be the top of a structure that's buried. I don't know. But there are a lot of buried structures in this area of Jezero crater, and I've shown them both on the ground, exposed, and also from satellite images. If you go back through some of my playlists, about Jezero Crater. There's a whole bunch of them where I've shown them from on the ground and from space and from the Ingenuity helicopter. And you can see the patterns of masonry in the ground in squares, rectangles, hexagons, circles, and other geometric shapes. Okay, there is a city buried right here, and the rover landed right on top of it. As they did, incidentally and coincidentally, I don't think so, in Gale Crater with the older rover Curiosity, that also landed right in the middle of a buried, ruined city. Okay, and I've shown many, many, many videos on that, which you can go through and check out in my playlists, or just go through my videos going back 10 years now. I've been showing evidence for this. So as far as I'm concerned, this is undisputed, and no one's actually been able to debunk my claims. Nobody's even come close to debunking it, because I've simply got too much proof. I call it proof because there's so much evidence. Individual pieces of evidence on their own are not enough, but as a whole, it's indisputable. There's just too much of it. Okay, so people can try and debunk me, but they've all failed over the years, and now people just don't even try. Funny enough, but this is weird and unfortunately a bit damaged. But you can see here an ear. This circular thing, I think, is an ear. That's an eye. There's the nose or snout. This is the chin at the bottom and the neck here. And these are teeth. Now, it doesn't look that clear in this until you crank the contrast like I've done here. Right? I'm going to use the magnifier again. You can see those details much better because I've cranked up the contrast. We've got eye. We've got mouth detail here. In fact, if I go a bit closer, you can see teeth here, and the mouth comes back to there. There's another tooth sticking down there. So we have, I think this is the eye here, and I think this round thing is an ear. You can actually see it's kind of hollow. So it looks damaged, it looks very crude, it looks like some kind of canine, perhaps, but it may even be something else, who knows. But the actual teeth configuration looks kind of quite dog-like to me, but I could be wrong. Okay, not very clear this one, but the shape is the giveaway, the way it sticks out like this and is attached, it seems, to this thing. And at the other end we got this weird kind of snake-looking face here with a strange kind of square kind of part just there. It's not very clear. Let me use the magnifier on that for you. Let's get a bit closer. Look at that. We've got little teeth with a mouth and two eyes. Weird, like a little snake or reptile or some kind of weird depiction of something. And there seems to be some kind of stuff carved into this as well. But it doesn't make any sense to me. But it does look like an animal carving. And this was probably, like I said, attached to a building. Then we have this. Now, this was like something I just found yesterday. This is Curiosity rover. These are unfortunately black and white images. I've colorized one of them here. We've got more of these spiky rocks, or razor rocks, I like to call them, because they look like razor blades. But a lot of this is natural, and it's just the way that the sedimentary layers have eroded, where some of it's stuck out and then broken off. But the actual Mars spikes, I do think they're artificial, but I'm not sure these are. This looks more natural here. Okay, but next to that, on the ground, in the same area, we have this mini pan up here. Unfortunately, poor image quality, this one. This is enhanced. I've had to enhance the contrast because this was very dark. We have this weird thing here, and I have no idea what it is, but it doesn't look normal. In other words, it looks like it's been manufactured or cut. And it's just a very odd shape, like a blade kind of shape here. If I show the enhanced one down here. There it is. Now, if I use the magnifier, you can see that this has got this really straight edge here. We got these nice angles here, which are parallel and look symmetrical here. We've got symmetry. and it kind of curves around in a blade kind of shape. Very strange. I don't know what it is. There's a negative of it there, and you can see those angles, nice angles in there. Looks artificial to me. I don't know what it is. It may have been part of some kind of statue or some kind of structure. I have no idea. Very strange. It doesn't look normal, and it jumped out at me straight away when I was doing the Gigapan. I thought, that is weird. So a lot of these things we see on the Mars surface, we can't really explain what they are, but they do have signs of artificiality. In other words, they have very straight edges and very nice parallel angles like we have just here. Okay? That's a sign of artificiality. Okay? A very good one. We can't expect to understand everything we see. We can't expect to know what they were used for or what they were part of exactly, but we can tell by symmetry and geometry that some of these things are artificial, okay? And this may well be, okay? And then we have this. Now, this is super weird. I have posted some of these things on Mars Magazine recently, so if you're a member, you would have seen that. A lot of these you'd have seen. If you're not a member, join up. It's completely free, and you get to see these things before they go on YouTube or anywhere else. And they often end up in the newspapers, although I seem to have been blacklisted from the press. Some of my recent finds, I think, are so clear and obviously artificial, they will not publish them. They seem to be determined to scare everyone about UFOs, and there's all this stuff from David Rush about UFOs that they want to scare everyone about. So who knows what's going on there? Probably another psyop, I would say, largely at least. And then there's these. I mean, this is super weird. Look at this. Just here. We have this rock down here with this, what I thought initially was just a ventifact. In other words, so a part of a rock that's eroded in a strange way, but it's got a face carved in the end. With a nose and a mouth, 2 eyes. It's super weird. And it's just crazy, right? Just absolutely crazy. Here's a close-up. It's a bit brighter in this close-up. There's the raw image there. So I haven't added this, right? This is in the image. And you can, like with all these Gigapans, if you go up here, you can click on this NASA link at the top, and it will take you to the page where all the raw images came from, right? So these are there, right? I haven't added any of this stuff. I've just enhanced it to show you. And there we are. What can I say about that? I called it the Snake Boy or something. Snakeman, there we are, yeah, the Snakeman. Very, very strange indeed. And a lot of the things we see, a lot of these carvings, and a lot of their artwork is quite humorous. Some of it's very dark and a lot of it's gargoyle kind of style, scary stuff with lots of reptile references. But dogs and cats as well, they seem to have been obsessed with. But then we have just super weird things like this, which are just insane. It's very pasty and black and white, unfortunately, but it's very clear. You can see everything. This is right next to the rover. And Sol 3926 is weird. There's some really strange stuff in here. And this is it, just here. There it is. So we got this rock here, and this is kind of sticking out at the top. Then we have that weird little face on it. Now, it may not be a face. It just may look like one from this angle. Who knows? But either way, it's a very strange thing. And some of this stuff is very, very strange. Now, most of it obviously is natural geology and rock formations. You get a lot of strange effects in lake beds where when it had water in it, volcanic stuff would have fallen into the water and solidified in very funny shapes. I get that. There's also lots of eroded sedimentary rocks and mudstone that can erode in funny shapes, a bit like that razor rock I showed you a minute ago. You get a lot of strange bits breaking away and forming funny shapes, and sometimes they look artificial, but sometimes they are artificial, okay? Just because these things happen and can look strange doesn't mean that the strange art we're seeing isn't real, okay? Because we have a whole mixed bag of stuff going on here. We have natural geology, lots of erosion, millions of years of erosion. and some very strange effects can take place. But then we have weird things like this, which looks like another gargoyle type statue head. And if we get in real close with the magnifier, you can see an eye here quite clearly. You can see this one which is eroded away. And we can see teeth here, 1, 2, 3, but it's very eroded. And probably extremely old, I would say. It could be 1,000,000 years old, 500,000, who knows. But like a lot of the things here, is in amongst natural rock formations, right? But just because it's next to something that's natural doesn't mean it's natural. There we are, look at that. That looks very artificial to me. But when you see it from other angles without the same shadow from this angle, it looks just kind of normal. But from this angle, it looks very artificial, right? You can actually see the eroded teeth there, like 1, 2, 3, 4. The chin's kind of all broken and the nose looks eroded. It's all eroded. But because it was probably carved in a strong shape to start with, it's managed to survive largely intact. And there's some weird stuff going on in here. Maybe some kind of emblem or something there. Very strange. Okay, there's the raw clip there. Right? Even in the raw clip, that jumped straight out at me as a carved head or face. Gargoyle style. Right? But this has got to be one of the weirdest things ever. Absolutely nuts. Right? The Snakeman. Absolutely insane. There it is again. There's the raw clip. So there we are, a whole bunch of things here. I'm very quickly going to show you them in here and get in real close for you. I can zoom right in further on these. There's that big bowl thing, which may be a millstone. Okay, there it is. It's getting close. Some good detail in here. You can see granular detail because it's right up near the rover. This is actually quite large. It's around about 9 to 12 inches wide, I think. It could be a little bit longer than that, wider than that. Could be up to 14 inches, but it's probably around 10 or 12 maybe. Don't know exactly, but it's quite large and it's close, so it may not be quite as large as we think, right? You've got to take distance into account. Here's those two different angles of the skull, the massive elongated skull here. It's getting really close. If you get too close, you can't focus. There's the eye detail there. There's a much darker one here. You can actually see it better in this one. I'll go back a bit. If you over zoom, you can ruin the picture. Okay? Got to get it just right. You can see that eye detail. You can see the teeth there. You can see the nose, like a little snout. Right? And then we've got this other angle of the same thing, which is actually clearer. From this angle, we can see more of the face, and we can see those eyes, the little nose, lips, and teeth. Okay, but we have a weird triangular mark or some kind of thing on the side of it. This may be a carving, who knows? These may be emblems on the side of some sort, who knows? And then there's that, which is in the same area, which is a figurine, or at least looks like a figurine, right? Pretty cool. I'll put still clips of these in at the end anyway for you, so you can actually take screenshots if you wish. So you'll see them full screen, and you can just like study them yourself, you know, and you can just pause it and use the magnifier, have a look. But you can always just go on the Gigapan and really zoom in and have a good look yourself. This is weird because if you look carefully, we've got all these little circular things in a row here, so that it looks like some kind of carving in the rock here as well as this dog-like gargoyle head here. Very strange, but interesting, right? Look at those teeth. You can see those teeth there. One there, one there. Got the jaw, got the neck. And the way it joins to this looks very odd indeed. And there will be links to all these Gigapans that you can check out in the description below, as usual. And like I said, you can click on the link up in the corner and get the original NASA images as well. quite easily, okay? So thanks for watching, everybody. Some crazy stuff here, some not so crazy stuff, but altogether this comes up to quite some good evidence just in one video, I think. Just on these recent ones. This thing I have no idea what it is, but it looks very interesting. The blade or whatever, I don't know what to call it. Look at those angles in there. It just doesn't look like a normal eroded random rock. Look at it. It's manufactured. It really does. Okay? And it may not even be rock. It looks like it's cracked like rock, but it doesn't mean it is. So who knows? Thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe as usual. A lot of you I spotted are not subscribed, about 30 or 40% who watch these videos. So click that subscribe button and click all on the subscription status when you do it. And then you'll see my videos come up and you can watch them as you like. If you don't have all clicked in the little options menu, you won't probably see my videos anywhere, okay? Because YouTube are very good at hiding my channel for some reason. So, thanks for watching. Clips coming up now.